Hi, everyone. Welcome to Chatbox Chronicles. Yes, your daily dose of fun and inspiration. We're Layla and Elise, your two hosts or your two best friends in our 30s, and your go to for daily inspiration and weekly laughs. Yes. Today's episode is airing on World Suicide Awareness Prevention Day. So, we'll be chatting with an incredible Fightress Aaron, who is the founder of Wellness Oasis Pike Road, a dedicated mental health therapist. So get ready for a powerful conversation as we explore the importance of mental health, the power of community, and the challenges of balancing work and life. So let's break down stigmas and share stories and find inspiration together. Yes, join us as we dive into this important topic and discover how to find balance and wellness in your own life. Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast. Let's build a community of support and inspiration together. All right. So we're going to welcome in Fightress. Hello. All right, Fightress, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about Wellness Oasis Pike Road and the services that you offer?
Yes, so Wellness Oasis Pike Road is a 5-office luxury co-working space. We rent out office spaces by the hour, by the day, by the week, to remote workers, therapists, social workers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, or just someone that needs a quiet space to focus, reflect, and recharge. That's amazing. So what inspired you to create such a supportive and inclusive space for the community? Yes, so this space was created out of my own need. I'm a licensed professional counselor in private practice. Okay. And there's no office spaces in our area for me to rent for my practice. And so I am the type of person, be the change you want to see. And I'm out of vision. And for the last 4 years, I was patient and waited to execute that vision. It's taken 4 years. This has been a 4-year process. Right. Yeah. But that's where this space came from, just my need as a therapist.
Yeah. Hard work pays off.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been a therapist for?
Ooh, somewhere doing it the other days.
6 years. This is my 6th year.
Okay.
And I've been in private practice for 3 years now.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. Also, just do you mind saying how old you are?
We're in our 30s.
I'm 36.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like we're in our 30s. I'm a millennial.
Yeah. We like a little add this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool, same.
Yes, and most of the people that we've been interviewing this season have been in their 30s, so it's good to
We're also kind of trying to show like the younger generation who looks at us like we're old that we're not. We're still like fun and successful and just cool to be around. So
we are.
All right, can you share some of the success stories of clients who have benefited from the services here at Wellness?
Oh, yes, of course. So we currently have 2 therapists that are members in our space, and they've grown their caseloads since coming here because previously they were working remotely or meeting at Starbucks type of thing, walk and talk in parks, and just having a physical location that's convenient not only for them but for their clients to come and meet them. They've been able to just grow their practices, which is that's what I want. Like, right. I want this space, the people that use this space, I want them to be able to grow and thrive.
I love that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Can you explore the range of services that are offered here, including the co-working spaces and the podcasting equipment and all of that fun stuff?
Right. So we have the 5 office spaces, which, by the way, we're giving all of our Patreon members, we're going to get a further tour. I mean, I'm sure you could find on her website and stuff, but she did show us around. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, or if you're not one yet, you should go over there and subscribe, and you can look around. It's really beautiful over here. Yes. And so we have the 5 office spaces. They have all the comforts and luxury items that you need for working and productivity, as well as our member comfort closet, which the podcast equipment will be stored in that closet, complimentary for our members to use when they're in the space. As well as things like iPads and keyboards and things like that. Anything you need for productivity, journals, pens, like down to the simplest things we have here.
Really cool. Because sometimes you kind of forget when you're going in and you're rushing around. Or
Chargers, everywhere. It's very neurodivergent friendly because I have ADHD, and so I've designed the space in a way to accommodate those types of needs as well.
I appreciate that. Something that's a huge.
Yes, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people do, and a lot of business people do.
Yeah.
So yeah, something that is like this, that they can have everything that they need, but stay like organized and on task.
Yeah.
And it just sounds, that's a thought of everything.
Yeah.
That's
And it's also nice to like have your own space, but also maybe possible a little bit of community with people. Like, that's really fun.
Yeah, community over collaboration is really important to me. Like the businesses and people that are in this space, it's not just individualized. Like we have networking events, community events, functions, like opportunities to connect with other people that are doing the same or similar things that you are, and using the space to create that community.
Right. Because also like you might think you know how to do something and then like talk to someone else every day and like, it's nice to rub ideas on someone that kind of understands.
Because you should inspire.
Yeah. It does. All right, now that we've introduced our incredible guest, Fightress Aaron, and her amazing work that she's doing here at Wellness Oasis Pike Road, let's dive deeper into the challenges and rewards of balancing entrepreneurship and maintaining your health. As a successful entrepreneur and mental health professional, Fightress has unique insights into this topic.
Yeah. So, Fightress, how did you discover your passion for entrepreneurship and mental health therapy?
Oh my goodness. So my mental health, after I had my son, so I have a 9-year-old son, and I had severe postpartum depression with him. And I could not find the help that I needed at that time. And so because I was already working, I had a full-time job that paid well, I thought I'd be a working mom. My mental health took a hit. It was cool. I've navigated every other aspect of mental health besides being a therapist on the other side of it.
Okay.
And I knew entrepreneurship came into play with that. I went back to school, became a therapist, got my license, became a therapist, but I knew I wanted more children and I needed flexibility. So that's what entrepreneurship came in, to allow me the flexibility to homeschool my children, be a mom first, support clients on my terms versus working for corporate or group practice,
right,
with restrictions.
Which, let's just like say how it's so funny that moms can't work, but they can be entrepreneurs and they can run full businesses, but you won't let them work from home with their kids because blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're going to get into that later.
That made me hot.
That I will die on. As soon as I became a mom, it was like before I got pregnant in 2019. And I created a work from home proposal. They approved it. And then day one of going to labor was when COVID hit. So the whole world went remote, which was actually like a blessing. However, then when they're still trying, I just wish they would literally embrace remote. But anyway.
And I always knew. So I created my business plan for my practice to be completely virtual because I needed that flexibility. It was never my intention to get brick and mortar.
Right.
I just identified a need because even when I had my office space off Zelda, I was only in the office once a week. And I only have a few clients that wanted in person. Everyone, the majority of my caseload is completely virtual. And that was another thing that sparked the need for a co-working space like this, because I was paying rent monthly, but only there 4 times a month.
Right.
So financially, I just
this too, so you can be the day that I'm not there. Right. It's like, that's so smart.
I don't need, a whole month.
Right.
I think Elise and I both went through that.
The corporate escaping.
The corporate escaping world, and really embracing our passions and becoming entrepreneurs and being able to be there, for our kids and have that flexibility. So I love that. We definitely give that.
Yes. So I guess basically what inspired you to start your business was being a mom, and then
being a mom and supporting other moms. Just going through that postpartum depression by myself without a village, it was hard. And I was like, again, be the change you want to see. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go back to school to be the change I want to see.
Right.
And, also support my own self, like having more children, because now I have 3 children, and I'm able to be there for them and be flexible and not have to like submit time off or,
Yeah.
things like that. Like,
Or find someone else to take
or
care
find
of
someone else to
kids.
take care.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
right.
I'm able to be mom.
Right. They
manage
have
my
field trips,
business.
you're there. They have
Yeah.
functions, you're there.
We're there. So, and then I'm able to homeschool like that.
Even better than
Yeah. So, corporate America, I would not have that flexibility without
Right.
entrepreneurship and doing things my way.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So, can you share the challenges and rewards of being a female entrepreneur in the mental health field?
Yeah. So, there is a lot of gatekeeping in the mental health field. And as a woman of color in this field,
Even more so.
it's even more so because there's so many barriers to things such as training and education and continuing education and just so much gatekeeping. And so I navigate that just by trying to stay client focused and I've never like I don't market my practice much. Like I do a lot of trauma therapy and the people find me and my practice is doing so well. But I also would share that information with other clinicians. Like I don't gatekeep. I don't if I have referrals and my practice is full, I send them to other clinicians. Like I'm more aligned with open your hands and give and receive, like having that reciprocity and flowing, than trying to like get it all because we can't. I
Right.
can't see everyone.
And
Also,
also,
doing someone else's life is not
Yeah.
anything. Everyone can shine. That's what I
Everyone
think
can shine. Yes,
Yeah.
everyone can
And
shine.
also, with what you do, you care. These are real clients who are needing
Yes.
help. And so it's not more so like, let me get all the clients. It's like, if you can't, then you're not just going to send them into work.
right,
You need help, and I'm going to help you get help, whether it's going to be
else.
And also not taking on more than
You can
I
take.
have capacity.
Yes.
Because
Which
my
is
mental
your
health
mental
is
health, yes.
important as well, so that I can show up in all of these different roles.
Right.
Wonderful. Yes. Yes.
All right. So, as a successful entrepreneur, how do you balance your own mental health with the demands of running a business?
Yeah. So I recharge when I need to. I rest. I honor my need for rest. I honor my capacity. And I am learning how to delegate.
Yeah.
That's delegating is big.
Yeah, if you listen to our podcast, we've kind of touched on these topics as well. So let's definitely dive into that a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're going to have to prioritize all of these.
All of those things. Yeah. And that for me with the co-working space, it's looked like hiring on, a marketing person and a property member manager person. And for my therapy practice, hiring a virtual assistant. Like now I have a virtual assistant. And I love that as an entrepreneur, I'm able to hire and support other moms because we're all moms.
Yes.
Like in
That's
our
awesome.
Slack, like we have a channel that's just like mom life. Where
Oh,
we,
cute.
like somebody's
Pictures,
nursing
yeah.
a baby on Zoom, like on our calls, and we're able to say, baby has an ear infection or just typing and my toddler's on my head type of thing. And it's just we're
I'm
able
doing a
to
podcast
work.
and my kid is in the chair over here.
Yeah, like we're able to work but still be moms at the same time.
Right. And I think that's actually inspiring for our kids. Like I was in the car with my husband because he also works from home, and our kids are in the back seat, and he's having a business meeting over the phone. And my daughter knows what Quiet Coyote is from that movie Soul. Disney movie. So I use the hand Quiet Coyote whenever Dad gets on a phone call or she walks up. I'm like, and she knows exactly what that means. But like listening to him talking and the words he's using and what he's saying, like I see she's picking up on it, and I'm like, I really kind of think this is good for them to see you knowing how to work, but it not be your life. Because I mean, how many movies back in the day was the dad at missing the baseball game? Like all of these things, they just didn't have their priorities right. And our kids are only little for so long. And
Oh yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely it's something I like to get onto. But anyway, so let's talk about some strategies that you might recommend to others who are trying to find a healthy working balance. Do you have any go-to strategies that you use?
Yes. Set boundaries, especially with communication and social media. We're so connected to our phones, our devices. And when you are running a business, it is so
Even more
easy
so.
to, not honor those boundaries because you feel like I have to be working. I have to answer this Instagram message. I have to do this. I have to answer this email.
I just got inspired. I just got creative. Like, yeah, your brain's like firing all something.
And
So, you got so many tabs open.
yes, it's just learning to unplug so you can recharge and be able to show up for your business, for your family as best you can. So definitely unplugging like that. That's major for me. And also having the self-awareness to know what you're not good at so that you can delegate and get support and allowing yourself to be supported. Like that's huge too. Like for me, like I'm very type A and very, and so just me allowing other people in to support me and having flexibility, lots of grace while doing that. That's big, and that's helping my business grow in ways where versus me trying to do everything myself and essentially becoming burnt out eventually.
Right.
Which that's what's going to happen. And so I see it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right.
So I have to prepare and put people in place so that I don't get to that point.
Yeah, and with my business, I definitely resonate with that. I was always straight A student, type A. If it's going to be done right, then I need to do it myself. And also just that that you've been let down so many times, and so it's like
you're like, I don't trust nobody.
So you don't ask anyone because you're worried that they're gonna because for me, I've delegated jobs out in the past where it's like they'll do it for like a weekend and they quit, so then it's just like, well, I'll just do it. But I have learned over the past few years, the more I delegate to the right people who want to do it and have the passion for it too. Yes, your business will grow. I have less burnouts. I used to have burnouts all the time, but now with the delegations and also having like a support group of people who are in the same industry as me, we kind of help each other and inspire each other to keep going. Way less burnouts. So I'm totally understand that. All right, can you talk about? So speaking of that, can you talk about the importance of self-care and seeking support when needed?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So self-care is so important because people ask me all the time, like, I don't know how you do it.
Right. That's the biggest thing. They act like you're a unicorn. And you're like,
no, I just take care of myself. Like, I nourish my body. Right? Like, I nourish my body. I do things that feed my spirit and feed my soul. I have boundaries. Like, boundaries are so important. Like, my phone's on do not disturb most of the time.
Mine too.
Like, don't call me. I'm not going to ever answer. Like, those types of things, and just not wavering on that. But also not like having the knowledge and self-awareness to know where your limits are and where your capacity is and honor it. Because some days, I'll give you 60%, and that's 100% of where I am. What you can do. It may not always be 100%.
Maybe like a newborn sleep. Like
but I'll give you 100% of what I can. And I honor that, and I honor those limits, and I think that's it.
I think we have to figure out what works for us too. And they can be just little things that really help. Like, for instance, my husband gets so mad at me because I have my texts turned off. I have to go into my text in order to see them. But I realized that, about a year ago, every time my phone would text, it's not like most people who are an entrepreneur, when their texts go off, it's like, oh, yay, someone's texting me. Right. It's like, someone needs something.
I guess so. That's my to-do list.
Yes, every time I get a text, I'm like, oh. And so having my text turned off, at least I know that I can, when I have the mental capacity to do it, or like I'm out of time, or I'm like, okay, I can breathe, I can go into my text. And my husband will go on my phone and turn my text back on. I'm like, no, I'm going to respond to you. I promise. But like, I can't stand the dings. Just the small things like that. Same thing with my email. I don't have notifications coming up on my phone from my email. I have to go into my email because I'll get like 100 emails a day. Yeah. And if it was going off all day, I'd be like,
I used to have the watch, and I immediately took it off. I was
exactly. Exactly. I did not need to be like that.
The Fightress, you specialize in supporting women and mothers who are navigating depression, anxiety, and trauma. Again, we said this is the National Suicide Awareness Day, and depression, especially postpartum depression and anxiety and trauma, they are all real things. Personally, I don't know anyone that hasn't gone through
some sort of.
Yeah. And there's things that like you ignore for so long that you're not even ignoring sometimes, and like you'll react, and like it definitely, I think, becoming a mom, you kind of like, I realized so much trauma that I had suppressed.
Yeah.
And then
Like compartmentalized.
And also like I became a mom in 2020. And and it was just like a weird time, and you just can't talk about it, and like you still really can't talk about it, but anyway, that's just stuff that people don't really know. And sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Or on that topic. And hey, you're in a safe space.
I see a tissue.
Trying to feel like clients, right? Like clients are really sad.
I'm gonna grab your tissue.
So, and just kind of going back from there, as a trauma therapist, like I do EMDR therapy and brain spotting.
I've been looking for someone to do that.
And so,
what is that?
It's EMDR therapy. It's a trauma-informed modality that uses bilateral stimulation to process trauma. And brain spotting is similar, except for it doesn't use bilateral stimulation. Once we find the spot, you process it differently. But so EMDR will work. You having that memory about the 2020, but you'll be able to remember and talk about it without that emotional response.
I can't wait for that, because that's what I really want to get to.
I've been wanting, I'm a therapy, but like whenever, so I had gone to talk therapy, and I went to one session, and she said, I can't help you. You need this, this, and this. And that was one of them. And like back then, whenever I went, the closest people were Birmingham, you couldn't get in with them because only certain people are specialized in that. So just knowing that, that's awesome.
Because sometimes you don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And I think that's why we suppress so much. We don't want to go there, but we can't heal if we don't go there.
So and your nervous system is a wreck. And
our nervous system. What's your approach? Like, what's your approach to that therapy? Like, if you see, like, I don't know, how do you help people with those like depression, anxiety, and trauma?
I have a multitude of tools in my box. First, like I have personal lived experiences and also professional training, specializing in things like brain spotting and EMDR, where I've been trained extensively on using these tools to help people heal. And I do it all the time. Like I've started doing EMDR intensives. I did some this weekend where we do 2 to 4 hours of EMDR therapy. And it is just life changing and transformative.
Really weird for me.
Come on, girl. Come sit on my couch. And so, and I, because of my own journey with my own mental health, like I think I have a natural, just more capacity, more compassion.
Relation.
With the work that I do. Because it's not work. I'm honored to be in those spaces with my clients. Because I know how hard it is, from personal experience, it is hard, and so just having me in that space is such an honor. I enjoy it. I enjoy everything I do. That also helps. That's a thing for you. Do things you enjoy.
And that's when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Because business is hard. Being an entrepreneur is so hard. But if at the end of the day you feel good about what you're doing, then you're doing your passion and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So what inspired you to focus on supporting women and mothers specifically?
As a woman and as a mother. And so my personal journey with postpartum depression and just healing from childhood trauma and dealing with depression and anxiety myself. And
And it is hard for women, I think, to realize that you can go somewhere and talk to someone and have find a community of support. And so, also there is a lot of men, in my experience, men that just need to go to therapy and then they can't. And then you have the women, they won't. And then the women in their lives that are having to deal with that. So then they have the emotional baggage, all that. Oh my goodness. It's it's saddening. As a woman, sometimes we just need that extra support.
No, sure.
So I'm glad that you're giving space for that, for sure. And then one last question. I think we basically have kind of hit on everything, but I think one last thing is, can you just share I know you kind of touched on burnout, but do you have any other tips on managing your burnout? Because I just feel that's something, like we said, people think we're unicorns. It's
We
like,
do burn out.
yeah, and we do burn out, and sometimes you don't even realize it when you're in the middle of being burnt out, and you're just doing so much, and then your body physically gets sick.
Yeah.
That happens. So, just to end this section, what are your tips for managing stress and avoiding burnout?
So I just, as a trauma therapist, I take a very somatic mind-body connection approach and just honoring, your nervous system and the needs of your nervous system, chiropractor care,
Yeah.
grounding exercises, meditation, mindfulness,
Amen.
breathing.
Yeah.
Like so many people walk around every day. Like if I'm in Publix or something, like I can tell when somebody's nervous system, yes, jaws clenched, and I'm like, ooh, you need to breathe.
You're trying to grocery shop, but you're also like, hey, you over there.
Now, when you let's just breathe, so let's just inhale, and so because we've become just as a society just so wound up and have this belief that we have to do and be everything to everyone. All it's like, no, you don't. So give yourself permission to honor what you need.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful too. Yeah. Alrighty. So about that community and connection, we're going to dive a little bit more in this segment. How does Wellness Oasis Pike Road foster a sense of community and connection among its members?
Yes. So we have networking events. We have initiatives such as Mama Matters, where moms can come in and use the space. We're partnering with local businesses such as Black Women Rest, and doing an event with them where people can come in and rest. We're hosting some book club nights where you can bring your book and get you some coffee.
I'll see me here.
I'll see you but you don't have that pressure to talk to anyone because sometimes you just want to be around people but not like engage.
Yes.
And so you can get that community and that
my husband doesn't understand what I want to read. I'm like, I want you there, but
don't talk to like don't talk.
I read her that. I'm like, y'all stay out.
Yes. And so just doing different things like that in our community to just foster connection like that. That's how we are supporting the community in that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, can you share the importance of community and support in promoting mental health and well-being?
Oh yes, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
You can't do anything alone. You can't do motherhood in isolation. You can't be an entrepreneur in isolation. At some point, you're going to need someone. And so I think just kind of knowing that from the start and then seeking that community of like-minded people and connections to support you along the way.
Yeah.
And some people are only there for a season.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
They have to be fluid.
Yeah. And sometimes you get a little hurt. I would get heartbroken when I was younger because I put so much into a friend and then there's that friendship for nothing. Like there was no reason for a fallout. Or maybe there was, but then you're just like, that was a lot of wasted time. But that's okay. You keep finding, you will find people. And there's, you learn something in that. I've always, learn something.
Nothing is wasted. No experience is wasted. But also, while you're fostering these connections, honor your values, honor your needs, so that when it is time for you to disconnect from that person, when the season is over, there is no regret.
Right. Yeah.
There's peace.
Right.
And I love that because I will say, just being vulnerable here, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I have a type of depression that whenever I do get to that point, I just shut down. I shut down and shut everyone out, and I just kind of go into isolation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do that, because it's you get to that burnout and you get to that point where it's you have this feeling of people don't talk to me unless they need something from me.
Yeah. And you're exhausted.
And you're exhausted.
Talking.
And so
somebody.
Yeah, then you shut down because you're well, and then also for someone like me who is very type A, very successful at doing these things, people sometimes look at you like you're superwoman and you don't need rest and things like that. And so then whenever you do, you feel like you have to
And
isolate because
there's something wrong with you.
there's something wrong with you. Yeah, if you are in a depression,
say,
see, I knew she couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Or
just
she's being a human right now. So having a space like this is really nice because it's you can come in these doors and people aren't looking at you that businesswoman right there should not be depressed.
And so what advice would you give to others who are looking to build stronger connections within their own communities?
know yourself and your values
Mhm.
and honor those things when you show up in your community. So then, like, it's really important for me, supporting other moms, supporting local businesses. And that's how I show up.
Yeah.
Sometimes that looks like an encouraging word, that looks like buying some cookies. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
Big or small,
it
all of it.
matters. All of it matters.
Yeah.
All of it counts. And just show up authentically
Right.
to foster that connection, because there's enough crud in the world. Like,
Right.
so just
And
show
not one
up.
shoe fits you. Everyone likes different things. So that,
Yeah.
just show up authentically. Yeah.
And we talked about that a lot in our podcast. Like, that's why we asked you, like, oh, would you mind sharing your age? Because as a millennial, we're learning a lot because the younger generation is a lot of technology, and it is a lot of like, well, I'm busy, so I don't have time for these relationships. But like, as we've gotten older, we realize that relationships are the most important thing in life, and so we're learning how to show up more, to be intentional, regardless if you have all these other things going on. Like if a relationship matters to you, or if your mental health matters to you, or your family matters to you, and things like that, then to show up and be normal.
Yeah. And your life changes, your season changes. We talked about that. And like fall is here, and like the leaves change is good. But yeah, and like what we've talked about in the previous podcast episodes is like what works for us now might not work always, and there's different ways to do anything. Like I remember when I did first come out and say I wanted to work from home with my kid, everyone was like, no, it's not going to happen. No. And I'm like, if you don't want to do that, cool for you, but for me, I think, and like, everyone's like, do you, boo, is what everyone was saying that year. And I was like, why isn't anyone letting me do me though? Like, why are they telling me I can't do this when I'm doing it? Like, I set my stations up. I know what I need to do. And my daughter is 4 and we're still going strong. So
So you're the founder of Fightress Mamas community.
Yeah.
And I love that group. It's probably, I'm in a lot of groups, obviously, because my business is so founder. So
talked about it earlier. So I apologize.
she posts in there like every day, whether it's an encouraging something, whether it's like supporting someone's business or something. I love that group. Because I will say, like, a lot of times when I do post in another group, there's some kind of negative connotation behind, whether it's the admins kicking your stuff out, whether it's someone commenting on there that's just just being negative Nancy. But I like Pike Road Mom is just so refreshing. So I do love that. So with you being the founder of that, can you tell us more about its initiative and its impact on the local community?
Oh my God, yes. So I founded the Pike Road Mamas group when I was deep in the throes of postpartum depression.
What year was it?
It was 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. And my son may have been 3 months. It was like November. Yeah, 3 months.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, there has to be like other moms in this community. So I live in the Lockshire neighborhood. And so I'm like, where are all the moms? Like I'm isolated. My husband went back to work.
Yeah.
And I'm just crying my eyes out all the time. Like, where are the moms?
Right.
And so I was in some Facebook groups, but they just weren't supportive, and it didn't feel safe.
Right.
And so I was like, well, okay, change I want to see.
Right, yeah.
And I started the Pike Road Mamas group. And when I tell you the impact this group has had just in my life, like it's become a ministry for me. It's more than a group. Like these are mamas' lives, children's lives, down to like dropping off rotisserie chickens to mamas that just had babies, or DoorDash, and to paying power bills, giving school supplies. Like it has become just such a community of moms that are rooting for each other. Like collaboration over competition is the vibe in the Mamas group.
It's definitely like my favorite group out of all the ones that I made.
And it was I wish I was from Pike Road. Sorry. I'm trying to start. Well, we just did our Chatbox Chronicles community because, like, I want something like that because every mom group I'm in, it's just every day I open up my phone and it's like
something negative. There's a negative connotation to it. And I will say it was great too because I am new to Pike Road. So it was really nice, like, coming in and being like, okay. And so far, I wanted to move out to Pike Road because where I was, the city that I was in was very non-support business. But it was like everybody else was just like, oh, your business. And everybody was constantly saying, like, anytime I had an issue, people were constantly saying, go to Pike Road, go to Pike Road. And when I looked at my statistics, honestly,
the majority of our parties are in Pike Road, Montgomery, or Auburn. And so, and Prattville too. But like, I knew I wasn't going to move back to Prattville. And so I was like, okay. And so we took the leap and we came to Pike Road, and it has just been so amazing so far. The community up it has been so supportive. Even like with things that are outside. It's like, for instance, I have a friend who's got cancer right now, and I'm based, to host this benefit for her. And I have reached out to all these people who are, you think that would want to help because they are very active in the communities, but then you ask them for any kind of help and they just ignore you. But whenever I came to Pike Road, like I had messaged the Waters, and they were like, yeah, come on, like no charge. You guys use our facilities all the time, and we want to help you. And so it's just really nice. And then as soon as I moved here, we had the Pike Road
Shop
local Pike Road. They came to me. And I come to them, and they were like, "Oh, we want to put your business on here and tell people about it." And anybody else who had ever came to me about that wanted money from me.
Yeah.
They just wanted to support my business. So the Micro Moments group feels like that too, and I love everyone supporting everyone in there. And you have been the forefront of it all, so that speaks about you as well.
Yeah.
Then, how important is community and connection for promoting mental health and well-being?
Yeah, very important. Because it's kind of like you can't heal in the same environment that makes you sick.
Right.
Yeah. So, fostering a community, even with the Pike Road Mamas, like fostering a supportive, close-knit community of other moms that if they're not in that season, they've been in that season, and they're not so far removed, like that creates protection for your mental health and stability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we can go on to the next segment, which is a fun game. Okay. All right. We're going to play a wellness word association game.
Okay.
Alrighty. So this is going to be fun. Leland and I are going to take turns saying a word that's related to wellness. And Fightress here will have to quickly respond with the first word that comes to her mind.
Yay!
Yeah. And listeners, let us know what words came to your mind. Yeah. Okay. Are we ready? You ready? Yeah. Okay. All right. First word, mindfulness.
Meditation.
Nutrition.
Coconut water.
We love cooking.
I love
sit up
coconut
there. I know. Like just another sugar graphic.
Yeah.
All right. Exercise.
Pilates.
Relaxation.
Can't say that one. Sleep.
All the S words. All right. Gratitude.
Love.
Community.
Nice. Oh.
Self-care.
We're honest. And I think we can also talk about it. Yeah, it's great. I think it's good to talk about it. I'm someone
They're thinking it too.
Yeah.
And also, like, we've been married. Like, how long have you been married for?
15 years.
Exactly.
I mean, we still, I personally, multiple times today, like, this is
Well, you can also let the young people out there know it doesn't have to be stale.
Yeah. And honestly, yeah. I mean, I love my husband.
Right. You said I'm not a baby. Okay.
I know, right? So,
Okay, self-care. No one is sorry.
I'm not going to say it. Always sex. Lots
Yeah,
of sex.
there you go.
So you
That is very self-care.
Very self-care.
What about meditation
A prayer.
and yoga?
Gosh, sex again.
You get minty.
I don't know.
My husband and I love yoga. We actually, there's DDP, Diamond Page, who's a wrestler. We did his yoga together. It was like really bonding. And they would play like really corny music, and we'd get our yoga mats like fight with each other. Yeah. That was fun. Yes, I think you did great. So was there anything that you felt was, after you said those words, do you have like a theme that you think came out when you were saying those?
Sex.
Exactly. Hey, we all got to be taken care of.
Amen.
Yes. All right, listeners, let's see how you do. Put your answers in the comment. We would love to read and just see what those words made you think about. I love word association. It is actually a really good therapeutic tool. It can help improve your cognitive function, creativity, and problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it not only is a fun game, but it's beneficial for our brains.
Like first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's like we should ask men that question. They'd be like,
I did. I went through and asked my husband these questions. Let me see what comes in your mind. He was like, his mind just said synonyms. I was like, okay.
I was gonna say, sounds like a hobby.
Yeah. All right. So words have a powerful impact on our mindset and self-perception.
Yeah.
For example, like Leela was mentioning earlier, by using the word successful instead of busy, like if you say, like, how are you doing it? And you just say, I'm being successful. It's like, I'm doing things. So like, I'm so busy. Because busy gives it kind of like a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So like a challenge for us and for our listeners is, if you see yourself saying that you're just so busy, maybe try to change that word to successful. Be like, I'm having a successful morning. I'm having a successful day. I'm having a successful week. And that it's like, big and small things, even in your daily life. Like I successfully cleaned my house this morning. Like I successfully made breakfast and cleaned the dishes afterwards. Like things like that. It's good to recognize the small.
Wait, with what I do, sometimes we're trying to say like, oh, I'm working, and trying to say like, I'm making magic.
Oh, beautiful.
Because if I say working, it's just like, you just want to keep working.
Right. Power words. Fightress, what are ways that you are successful in your everyday life?
I was just thinking as y'all were talking, it's funny because my husband, he'll be like, how many sessions do you have today or whatever? Or he'll check in, like, what are you doing? How are you doing? And I'm like, badass therapist. Like, helping people heal, being a healing dealer.
I
love that. So just kind of pumping myself up and having fun as I walk in my purpose.
Yeah, I love that.
I do too. It's fun.
Yeah.
Having fun as I walk in my purpose.
Yeah.
Bono up here, like, I love that.
All right.
Well, listeners, let us know your successful moments in the comments below, from daily successes to major accomplishments and even hitting small goals.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear them from you and cheer you on as well.
Yeah, I'm a big cheerleader for real. I was a cheerleader growing up, and I think I used to kind of hate it because I wanted more to be a dancer instead of a cheerleader. But as I go on, even the other day I was taking photos for a moving company, and the whole time I'm like, good job, dudes. Like, totally cheerful. Yes. We want to hear, we want to help cheer y'all on. And we also are here to create a supportive community as well with Chatbox Chronicles. So, thank you so much, Fightress, for joining us. We had so much fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very inspiring too. We encourage our listeners to visit Wellness Oasis in Pike Road and explore the services that they offer.
Yes. Remember, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. Do not be afraid to ask for support and connect with others in your community.
Yeah, and thank you all for joining us today, everyone. We'll be back next week with another awesome experience episode. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our podcast.
All right. And we'll be definitely plugging in Fightress's information and all her socials below. So check all that out. Be sure to go give her some follows and loves and hearts and all the things. All right. So we usually clink out. You want to cheers up? Oh, you're with us here, girl. And all right. Bye. Bye.